Welcome to Wager Talk. I am Kelly Stewart, joined today by Brian Leonard and Cheetah, the Cheetah. Where did you come up with the name Cheetah? Where did Sports Cheetah come from?
How long is the video?
Is it that long of a story?
No,
You can't tell me in 10 seconds?
I came in for March Madness when I was in college with a bunch of friends. We won 4 or 5 bets in a row, and some guy just randomly blurted out the Sports Cheetah. And when I was making my Twitter handle, it just popped in my head, so I rolled with it.
I like it.
Yeah. Was that 10 seconds?
Yeah, that was good. All right.
I just never. On another video when he started with us a few years ago.
Right. I just never heard that story. And Brian Leonard, I mean, first name, last name, sports. Seems pretty easy. Okay, great. Let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts catching 5.5 at the Chiefs. Total 57. This is a really interesting game for me. So I have this Colts future, and I'm not going to hedge it, obviously, because it's just a small bet, just for give me something to cheer through the playoffs. So if the Colts lose, no harm, no foul. If the Colts win, then we can start talking about some money. But I do think they can win here. Arrowhead is a tough place to play. Patrick Mahomes, great quarterback. But this team is not the same without Kareem Hunt. This defense is easily exploitable by Andrew Luck. What say you, Cheetah?
Yeah, I know. I agree in general. My actual raw numbers, just looking at everything, I think the number should be 6.3. So that's my actual projection. But I'm not surprised. As soon as it got to 6, it got bought right back down, and it's sitting 5.5 just about everywhere. There's going to be some sort of recency bias just based on the fact that the Colts have been playing extraordinarily well down the stretch, and then they just smashed the Texans on the road, so I'm not surprised to see it where it's at. And you made good points, right? And the narrative will be Andy Reid's, and the Chiefs are 0-6 at home in the playoffs, their last 6 tries, and Reid blows games late because of his decision making and whatnot. And so that'll be the narrative. I think Colts will be one of those public dogs, which doesn't necessarily mean they can't win. I think that was the case last week too. But my numbers think it's pretty close to about a fair line. So I'm staying away. I grabbed a little bit of the over earlier on in the week when it opened up way lower, like 53 and a half.
Yeah,
so I do have a little bit of that, but at this number, I think the total's fair too.
All right, Brian, your thoughts on this game?
I don't think the total's fair. I think I'm going to take the over in this game. When you take a look at what the Colts try to do, they play a zone defense. And when you take a look at what Kansas City does, they pick apart the zone like crazy. Kansas City, they're not the same offense as they were without the other running back, but this is still an offense that the Colts seem to match up very poorly against them because they don't do well against play action, and that's what Kansas City does well. They don't do well on long passes. That's what Kansas City does well. So everything Kansas City wants to do, they should be able to do against the Colts. And everybody's talked about the Colts defense, being so much better the second half of the season. The first 6 games, they were injured, so you're going to have to throw those out. But take a look at their schedule the rest of the season. They played the weakest schedule of opposing offenses in the NFL.
So you think their defensive numbers are skewed?
They are skewed. And keep in mind, last week they played a team without 2 of their best 3 wide receivers, and the third one was injured. The week before, they played a team without their starting quarterback. So they haven't really played an offense for quite a while now. And Kansas City has the extra week of rest, as was pointed out, but Andy Reid's great after a week of rest.
Well, that's the thing. So Reid's great after a week of rest, but, excuse me, you mentioned that play action. Now I'm dying. You mentioned that play action, but you have a really high-powered offense, and sometimes getting that week off is not always beneficial. Am I wrong?
Well, Kansas City hasn't played. It's not like on a hot streak offensively. And the Colts, on the other hand, the Colts will be able to match points with them all day long. I think this is one of the few games, especially, no, it was catchy. This is one of the few games where last week they all went under. It was a lot of low-scoring games. I believe the Dallas game crept over. But there's been a lot of low-scoring games. And I think that's getting in people's heads. But these are 2 major offensive teams right now. Indy's healthy offensively. I think a lot of points scored in this one.
All right, great stuff from both guys. WagerTalk Text Club, it's 100% free. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to get a $10 coupon for just signing up.